Yo, that bitch TAHARKA BEY just came up here to the museum. Shout out to the security up here. Shout out to his brother here. I just slapped the shit out of TAHARKA BEY. All right? Did you see me slap the shit out of him?
Yeah, I did, bro.
I just slapped the shit out of TAHARKA BEY and ran him the fuck up out of here.
Yo, this punk motherfucker throwing shit at us,
Yo,
man.
Zilla, man, I smell something, man. You smell something?
I definitely
Yes,
smell
Dad, you
something out here.
I smell
Pussy. Yo, he's a pussy, man.
Stick his ass.
Yeah.
Hey, how you like that, boy? Do it. Go. Wait. Okay, now.
Congratulations, you've just made yourself liable and you've incriminated yourself in what is was a crime in Los Angeles or whatnot. Like, you just can't have a street fight with people anymore because they arrest you for that shit. Okay, they arrest you for that shit. And like I said on the bunker's comment section, I said I'm Pontius Pilate on his platform, not on mine. It's fucking embarrassing, man, to see two grown men acting like children. All right, and what a coincidence that you would just find him there. Maybe somebody called him. He didn't give us any, details or nothing. I'm not, I've been kind of scaling back on the TARIQ NASHEED stuff and a bunch of other stuff from his associates as of late because I've caught them in being hypocritical when it mattered, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah. This guy was snooping around, and somehow, would you have a Nest Cam on your Hidden History Museum or your storefront? You have a fucking Nest Cam on that bitch? How'd you know he was there? Just asking. I didn't really. Maybe I should look this up before making this commentary. You'll have to forgive me for being human and shit, but I thought it was, I think a lot of the shit is just suspect and shit. And he was acting like a child, like both of you actually. You fucking embarrassing and shit. It makes me sick. That's why nobody take you serious and shit on the upper levels. People with like Magic Johnson money and shit. Fucking Ice Cube money and shit, and Jay-Z money and shit. You can't pull from those people, and nor should you. You were able to galvanize people on the ground, the grassroots and everything, and whatever you're giving them and shit, okay? And this TAHARKA BEY motherfucker, I have no love for it, nor did I give a shit to even go look at his channel or anything. I don't give a fuck, man. He had no business being down there, sticking his nose in the business, doing some investigating reporting, I suppose. But I guess Tariq got a Nest Cam on this shit, or, maybe security called him and shit. And if security called him and shit, they are in error. You should replace your security team, okay? They are supposed to be a visual deterrent. All right, they're supposed to utilize the 5-10 rule. 10 feet out, make sure he sees you. 5 feet in, you move to confront on some level. All right, and I'm not talking about physical shit. A lot of people need to get this shit in the head, man. It is not safe to fuck around on the streets of Los Angeles and shit like that. You can't just have a street fight with people. I lived over there for fucking damn near 3 decades, and I can tell you, in those 3 decades, I had probably like maybe four public fights. Okay, I kicked the motherfucker's ass over on Pico, right off Pico near the Staples Center. I kicked the dude's ass over there, and I was assaulted in Hollywood and shit on Hollywood Boulevard, and the police and the fire department. I got my stripes and shit. You had a fight down on Skid Row in 1990. I kicked the living shit. I beat somebody's ass in a public restaurant with a plunger. No cap. All right, he had it coming and shit. All right, so I've been around. All right, and when I listen to Tariq Nasheed talking about, getting on camera and shit, false flagging. Hey, I just slapped the shit out of TAHARKA Bey down here. I just slapped him. What's up, my fat ass, overweight, middle-aged security and shit, who can't even chase a nigga and shit because you'll have a fucking heart attack if you run 3 steps? Yeah, ain't that right? Even security was there. He shouldn't even answer that question. You shouldn't have fucking, no competent security would answer any kind of question like that on camera because he'd be terminated and shit. All right, that's like, what's that, like the Mike Epps security and shit? Huh? That top flight security? Yeah, yeah. I think it's ridiculous and it's juvenile and shit. I have no fucking faith in shit. You know. You want to talk about the goddamn museum? Okay, there's a physical building there, so it looks like a storefront or whatnot. It doesn't look like the picture. I didn't expect it to look like that. I thought initially, I want to just be on record once more saying this shit. I thought that him coming out publicly about his intention to build this museum and everything, and seeking funding for it, I understood it and shit. But like, it didn't make any sense for him to come out publicly consider this profile on the world stage. It would make more sense for him to hire 1 or 2 grant writers and get private funding and shit for that. Okay? Contrary to popular belief, this man travels the world and all this, shit. He can't go to the UK, supposedly. Who knows if that's true? He can't go to the fucking UK, but he does travel a lot and travel abroad, take vacations with the family and everything. No harm, no foul. But I'm just saying, like any normal person would hire, given his profile and everything, and his supposed accomplishments, would hire a grant writer, would hire, somebody, a fundraiser, would enlist the use of a fundraiser. You knows Willie D. Did Willie D put any fucking money on that shit with his trifling ass too? That nigga said that he never respected Martin Luther King and shit, and that was a rap for me. You know, yeah, some boule is cool with me and shit. That was Martin Luther King because he ain't here no more. He gave his fucking life. And you motherfuckers don't stand on the wire shit. All this, inner city. This down here in the slave quarters. We have political theater too. Okay, we have political theater too. But who am I to talk about that at length and shit? Usually I just be dragging misandrous black women all over creation and shit until they don't exist anymore. Okay, at light speed. And TARIQ NASHEED, man, I don't want to make that my channel about that shit. I've made videos about that in the past. You bitches show up when you want to show up and shit, okay? I try to do different content, nobody shows up. You just shows up for the dragons and shit, and me doing these nuclear commentaries on bitches. Alright? I'm just shaking my damn head. I'm shaking my motherfucking head. It's TARIQ NASHEED and TAHARKA Bey and shit. And I'm like, man, hey, motherfucker. If somebody really want to investigate the LAPD and shit, I'll ask TARIQ NASHEED for his phone records and shit, and I'll get TAHARKA Bey's fucking phone records and shit, I'll get his fucking phone records and see if they're talking to each other. How about that? That's my 10-4 kufi. That's my little, my street currency, my street Bitcoin there. I'm going to toss in the ring and shit. This just don't make no fucking sense. Like, he just finds them there. Like, he just finds them there. Somebody calls and say, hey, TAHARKA Bey is nosing around. That's some shit he's seen in movies. What is this? Cotton Comes to Harlem? That what it's all about and shit? Like, fuck, Yeah, I made this shit because I saw that Bunker TV had done he had done a commentary on it. It was very competent. I enjoyed the commentary and shit. It made a lot of sense and shit. He didn't spit. He spit facts and shit about, fucking around, nosing around. So I know if somebody come around my house and shit, they're gonna be laying on the lawn out there and shit. Okay? They'll be laying on the lawn. If they black like me, I got a good chance of getting off, especially in the shy. Alright? I don't know how it goes in his neck of the woods over there in the NYC. I don't know how it goes. But I want to say that I can't say that I'm just really, truly disappointed in TARIQ NASHEED for acting like a 10-year-old and shit, and getting on social media. I just slapped the shit. Just think about that. He's a dude. He's a father and shit, and a businessman, and a film director, and a world traveler, and an activist and shit, and at the forefront of the reparations movement and shit with the rest of the new black media, you know, and he's doing shit like this. You know, you ain't gonna see, his contemporaries taking him to task for doing that juvenile ass shit. I just slapped this nigga. You imagine that shit? You imagine Martin Luther King doing some shit like that? You know, I just found Malcolm X looking in my church window. I had to go out there and I snuck up on him. I put my foot in his ass. All glory. Yeah, how many people you think will listen to him? Okay? These people are human and shit. I say that, Mr. Nasheed is a human being, okay? He's allowed to, he's allowed to make some mistakes and shit, okay? But, I just can't give him the middle finger and shit, but everything is suspect around him as far as I'm concerned. And I of the opinion that our people deserve something, okay, from him, okay. They deserve something from it, better than a storefront and shit. But hey, they made a building, so I can just say, I'll wait until it opens up and all that bullshit. Maybe I'll talk about it. He did better than Umar Johnson ever did, and none of you motherfuckers ever ask him, press him about where his school is. Nobody ever presses him about that. Or about his dalliance with a stripper and shit that compromised his movements financially and shit. And the same stripper outed him and tried to write a tell-all book and shit. And then he had some of his cronies try to hit her up on a blog and shit, and run her down and talk about her child and shit. And I don't give a fuck. You shouldn't have had your ass. These dudes do shit every day to compromise and make them, nobody will have any respect. Any decent businessman will have no respect for his ass. Okay? And he's over there in LA. There's so many black people with money, that he's supposedly hobnob with and all that shit. Like I said, Willie D and all the motherfuckers, okay? Yeah, Dr. Dre out there, you got fucking Ice Cube, you got a bunch of people out there. And don't come to me with like, oh, they wouldn't put no money in all this shit. Okay, whatever. At least hire the grant writer. He'd have something going on. Okay? And then people gave him an out. They told TARIQ, they said, hey, why don't you make your museum, why don't you put it online? Why don't you have some undisclosed area and you could put the artifacts there, for the time being while you're raising your money. You can have a museum. You can have all these pieces and, all this stuff. And he poo-pooed that. He said he wanted a physical building that people could visit. Now we have a storefront. All right? And, speaking about that trailer, I saw the trailer for his latest film and shit. And, I want to put myself on Front Street and shit, but I used to live there for 3 decades. And before that, I was in a certain college taking a certain, coursework and shit, And the shit I saw in the trailer, it looks like a student film. It's just like I shake my fucking head. A lot of like actual white supremacists that hate niggas and shit. Yeah, I use that word. A lot of white supremacists that hate us, hate the nigga. They probably laughing their ass off. Look at him. Like we would never take out Tariq Nasheed, no matter what he says. He serves a purpose. He helps black people keep walking around the circle in that Petri dish. Okay? It's the same feeling I got years ago when one of Malcolm X's daughters caught a case for trying to get Farrakhan, get some payback on Farrakhan and shit, for Malcolm X's assassination. And I remember seeing this shit on CNN. The FBI was patting themselves on the back about how they called Malcolm X's daughter and saved Farrakhan. Okay, all right. Like I said, political theater. It's like throwing a pebble in a pond, that butterfly effect and shit. And even down here in the small slave quarters of the colonies of America, 3Ks and set you can have political theater. You have boule motherfuckers. You have people acting like children and shit. World travelers, businessmen, guys setting up a museum, all this and that. Part of that new NBM. I don't want to keep saying they fucking name. Dredge that shit up. I got 500 subscribers. I'm still trying to build my shit. So, you can come at me but from that angle if you're a dick. Yeah, this is my ramble. This is my fucking ramble and shit, you know? Because, come on, I want. So whoever's in the sound of my voice, listen to this shit. You got a grown man. I don't know how old he is. So maybe his 30s, late 30s, the early 40s or something. He sees another man, probably dressed like an idiot, dressed like a child, you know, with a t-shirt and some sports gear on there, sneaking around. I wonder if he was wearing his fez when he got the shit slapped out of him. You know, I said I have the footage, but you know, you really can't hardly see shit. You know, I put it up for you to look at. You know, for YouTube allows. You know, get two guys, two grown men, you know, fucking around like you're supposed to be an example. Okay, and both of them. Okay, and they're, you know, just theoretically speaking and shit. You know, I'd be embarrassed and shit. You know, at my age, you know, in my early 50s, to be scrapping with another 50-year-old nigga on the street and shit. You know, when you get up in age, like around my age or so and shit, there's no more scrapping and shit. Okay, there's like some shit goes on. You know you're in a situation, and then you just unload on the ass with that conceal and carry and shit. Okay, all right, just you know keeping it real here. Anyway, you know I ain't trying to offend nobody or nothing, but I can't. You know, I don't hold my tongue. It's just my fucking platform and shit. I'll be a bull in a china shop if I have to be, okay? Anyway, you guys, hey, you take care of shit. See you next time and shit. All right? Slap your ass and get glad.
Yo, that bitch ass nigga TAHARKA BEY right there. Yo, that bitch nigga TAHARKA BEY just got slapped.
This message has been paid for by the Dusties. Yes, the niggas you love to hate.